My God, is this the session after lunch? Buenas tardes. Maestra Jimena, do you recall who she was? I grew up listening to Maestra Jimena. So, a quick question. Why are you here today? Why were you compelled to join me in this session? I know it's hot in here.
I joined personally because I'm reading the description. In the leadership component of the description, it's like I think that naturally we think that leaders mean people managers. That's not true.
That's not true.
Any level and from any seat.
Oh, I love it.
I wanted to hear what you had to say about that.
You can lead from any place. Actually, leadership is not about positions, titles, companies. It's about you, right? And how you choose to lead, how you're manifesting your gifts that are natural to you. Have you heard that imposter syndrome? Oh my gosh. How many times in the last couple of years we have heard something like that? Too many. Thank you. I had someone else that was going to share here.
I just was saying to be inspired.
To be inspired. Okay. So I need you to get up. Get up. If you're watching online, I want you to get up and just walk around. I want you to meet the individual behind you. Behind you. So if you're here, behind you. Ah. Ask them. Okay. Time is up. Get back to me here. Because I knew you guys were sitting together, I had to confuse you and said, look behind you. Why do we have to look behind? Thank you. Someone behind you is going to push you up. But if we're not looking back, how are we going to move up? Do you see the point here? We always need to look back. Who's behind me? How can I mentor and train someone? Leadership, transformational leadership is about the change that we instill in others. Emotional, mental. This is brain-based. This is everything has to do with neuroscience, okay? I've been studying that for the last 14 years and been involved with ASE for 14 years. I'm Marlene Gonzalez, author, coach, partner, and also your coach today. So this is the book that was launched last year talking about this, giving information to individuals saying we need to up our game of leadership. Leadership, again, is not about titles, it's not about position, it's about you. But we have to be called to lead. How many of you would like to be CEOs, entrepreneurs, great dads and moms, amazing community leaders, politicians? Please raise your hand because we need more of that, okay? So what I'm saying is we choose how to lead. in leadership is the biggest crisis there is right now in the United States and around the world. That's why everything that is happening is not about other things. It's about the lack of leadership. So why that is so important is because we have to find the wisdom within us. And the wisdom comes from you, from your own personal story. Understanding, who am I? Where have I come from? Where am I going? But it's also about the data, hardcore data that you can use to understand your own personalities, your own blind spots, your own results, whether it's leadership, any MBTI disc. I happen to use Insights, and I've been using Insights for the last 14 years. So I'm going to walk you through a system that is meant to accelerate Latino and Latinx specifically in corporate America, but it can be used in any other industry. So this is the agenda that I put together for you. It is about accelerating leadership. It's accelerating your mind to embrace leadership where you are, but have that foresight to see 2 or 3 positions up. Always have that vision. You should know your job profile, your bosses, and your boss's bosses, and your boss's boss's bosses. Okay? Why? Because there is an alignment. There's a career path. There are requirements that you have to understand and meet before you even get to those positions. Because it's not when you get promoted to be a VP that you develop the skills. You develop the skills way, 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 way back. So why are we talking about Latinos and Latinx? Well, this is the reason. We have become a superpower, an economic engine in the US. It's $1.7 trillion, like Patricia was telling you about. But that's not only the thing that is driving the economy, is that we're buying more houses, right? The second one is the political power. 5 states, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, decided the elections. So more than ever, we're looking for Latino politicians that are representing our communities. Now, this is the third power, the workforce power. 1 of every 3 working Americans by 2050 are going to be Latinos, Latinx, Latin descendant, okay? So I want you to do the math. What is the percentage that it says up there? 20%? 73 million, 20%? How many heads is that? 20% of 73 million employees. 1,400,000. Okay, but it is said, these are current numbers. Latinos are around 20% in that middle management, but we are getting stuck there. We don't break the glass ceiling to higher levels. We are still 4%. But if our calculations are right, we're going to double that number by 2050. So how many more Latinos do we have to develop in the next 20 years? 40% of 73 million employees. How much is that? How many Latinos? Do you know that? Look around. Every 2 people, every other people, you guys are going to be VPs, CEOs, senior executives, or directors. If you choose to, it's a game. It's learning to play the game of leadership. And every game will have rules. Do you understand the rules of the game of leadership in your organization? Do you have clarity around who the decision makers are? Do they know you at the end of the year when they're doing roundtables? By name, by contributions, by meeting or exceeding expectations. Because if you are there and your name is called, you want everybody to say what about you? She's great. She's amazing. He is incredible individual, talented, strategic. I want him on my side. I want her to be leading my team. That's when you know that perception and reality has aligned. Do you see it? So why, let me go back here. Are you designing the success you want to create for you? Or is it going to be created by your company, your boss, your team? Or are you sitting down and thinking strategically, where am I going? And where do I see myself? Do I see myself in that C-suite senior level position? And what do I need to do to get there in the next 5 years, 3 years, or 2 years? And if you are already there, how can I transform myself to be even more successful and bring people around? So look at this. What names do you recognize? Jessica Alba. I love Jessica Alba. This lady is worth $1.2 billion now. The first Latina to take a company public. I hope that every Latina and Latino and babies are buying their products. I'm sorry, Johnson & Johnson, Unilever. Thank you for sponsoring the program, but we have to support Latina businesses, right? Thank you, thank you. What about the other names that you see there? Pitbull, great businessman. You have to listen to his interviews on YouTube. He's so sharp and smart. He happens to be a singer, but he's an entrepreneur. Now, I want you to ask your question. The question is about destiny or design. Am I destined to be a leader? Am I choosing to be a leader? How do I design my success so I can be at this level in the next few years? Now, I'm losing my voice here. What is this? Latinos, traditional values, right? Right here. Family, humility, take care of our modesty, respect for authority. What is right here? Traditional corporate values, Anglo values. Do you see the gap? Do you see the difference between our upbringing, our culture, and the culture that we're doing business in? It's very different. But sometimes that's part of the game. We have to understand that we are multicultural. We have to be Latinos and also in corporate, right? So the key here is understand which one is dominant in me. Do I tend to be so humble, not talking about myself, my accomplishments? Or do I tend to sacrifice my progress, my design, my prosperity, and sacrifice that for others, for my family? Because at the end, it's a choice. Now, I want you to look at the papers that you have in front of you. I'd like you to think about 5 key successes that you had the last 10 years. Think about that promotion or that significant project. What was happening to you? What emotions were going through yourself during those specific moments? I want you to picture and I want you to write it down. I want you to connect with that success, that moment in time, when you got that promotion, when you got that recognition, when you felt unstoppable. Who was around? Was it a mentor, a coach, your boss? Was it a significant project that you handled really, really well? What were you thinking at that point? Write down anything that comes to mind, anything. It could be a letter, it could be a word, it could be just a bullet point. But I want you to connect emotionally with that moment. I want you to picture that. I want you to feel how you felt the moment you got that promotion. How are my virtual participants? Were you able to download the PDF? Take the time, answer those questions. Let me ask you a question. How easy was it for you to go back to those successes? Really hard. Really hard. Why? We don't reflect. What did I learn? Right? What made me succeed at this point? How can I use this as a catalyst for the next level? But why do we forget about those things? Why don't we anchor those successes more in our brain, our emotions, our core? How many of you have served? I try a few times. How easy, how difficult is it to serve?
It depends on the environment. It's a little difficult sometimes.
And what is the number one requirement to be a great surfer? Balance. And where is the balance coming from? Core. Where is your core? What is your core? Where is your core comes from? Your beliefs, your values, your dreams, your passions. And if we're not recalling the good, great things that we have done, how can we anchor success in our lives? How can we design our destiny if we're not really thinking about what did I do here that made me so successful and happy? And what can I replicate on my next job, on my career, my life? Because I bet you that at least once you felt unstoppable, right? At the top of the hill. But what do we tend to remember the most? Oh my God, why? Ser flagelados, ¿no? Estamos acostumbrados a la cultura. I remember my abuelita, mija, no bragues. O sea, stop. You didn't do this well or that well, or mija, está muy gorda, o está muy flaca, o está muy fea. And I'm like, it's so hard to please your parents. And guess what? When we grow up, we become very similar to our parents, don't we? So I want you to take this as a homework. How many of you were able to complete 5, at least 5? Beautiful. Thank you. Wonderful. I want the rest of you to take it home and really think hard about those 5 episodes in your career, because they're there. We just need to connect more with them. Now, the transformational leadership that I teach is based on neuroscience. It's how do we anchor those things in our brain so we're repeating success and not failure. We learn from failure, but we have to design ourselves to think intentionally about success. If I'm heading to a new project, a new team, a new company, how do I prepare myself to succeed? Not just get by, but to be at the table and be a key player, a decision maker, someone who is an influential figure, anywhere, anytime. So Insights is about the color energies. How many of you have attended ACES program? Oh, this is so beautiful. Thank you. How many people can recall the 4 color energies? Red energy, fiery red, courageous, in control, decisive, right? They're facing conflict head on, type A personality. What about the blue energy? Back there. What is the blue energy? Cool blue. Thinking, analyzing, strategizing, very systematic approach to doing things. The green energy. People-driven, empathetic, someone who listens, someone who cares for others, someone who's mentoring, coaching others around you. And the last one, the yellow, sunshine yellow, what is that? I see smiles here. Social, creative, someone who's very strategic, visionary, right? Now, the core is that we all have those energies within us. Some of them are more developed than others based on our upbringing, our culture, our challenges, our job, our education. But we do have the resource within our brain to balance both the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. Now, the key is how those colors are shaped. And are we running old programming, or are we taking control of the new programming that we want to see the next 20 years? When was the last time you upgraded your application? You know, Apple will do it every 6 weeks, right? Why do they do it every 6 weeks? Bugs, changes, security, protocols, innovation. When was the last time you updated yours? About a month? Good for you. Good for you. We should be looking at least every year, what are my beliefs of success? And what am I still holding on that is not making me be or feel empowered? And let go of those things. Why do we pay so much attention to comparing or competing? Or como mi abuelita me decía, envidiando a otros? No. Listen, this is one community. There is opportunities for everyone. But we have to focus on ourselves right now. How do I become a better leader? How can I transform, upgrade this application that is not working more? Are we carrying on beliefs that are not yours, that are probably adopted from your parents, that it's time for us to just let go? Keep whatever works for you. But the things that are not, we have to have the courage to let go. Now, oh, I love this. See, when you go through the programs with Asset, you're going to get your own report. It's about 25 pages, and it gives you detailed information about your preferences. This is not about leadership capability. Every person is capable to develop any competencies whatsoever, but this is more about your personality, how you are shaped. It's what I call the DNA of your thoughts, your mind, your brain. And I want you to think, go to the second page, and I'd like you to take the time to ask yourself, what does leadership means to me? Don't tell me about the mantra that your company is, promoting. What is leadership to you? And what do you want to achieve as a leader? Write it down. I want to be a badass marketing director. I want to be promoted to the next level. I want to be mentored by X, Y, and Z. No limitations. I want you to dream big. Think about the next 3 to 5 years. Where do you see yourself? Write it down. Leadership means what? Can I articulate that message if I get on an elevator with my CEO? And what do you want to accomplish as a leader? What do I want to achieve as a leader? Many times we think, oh no, I'm not in a leadership position. It's my manager. It's up to my director or my VP. And in reality, you're designing the future you want to see for yourself. So I have the coolest job on earth. You know what my job is about? I help people grow up. I help people grow up. I help people grow up. And I get paid for it. Oh my gosh. It's the coolest job on earth because I get to transform minds and emotions and behaviors. Because when you go to a leadership program, it's more about topics that they share, but it's not about you. It's not about how you are programming yourself to succeed. It's not about how you're handling your emotions yourself, because you are unique. You cannot be compared to someone sitting next to you and having the same training for everyone. And that's why most of the company have not gotten the idea that we have to personalize leadership development to you and cater to you. That's why I have the coolest job on earth. And especially because I love advancing, promoting, and developing Latino talent. That's my passion. You know why I do this? I spent 27 years in corporate America. I was the head of training, learning, and development for McDonald's Corporation. Yeah. I was the only Latina, the only female for many years until we initiated the change. So What do you want to achieve as a leader? ¿Somos revolucionarios? Think about that. What can I bring? What is my legacy? What would I be remembered by when I'm gone? I have people here that work with me years. Cassandra, where's Cassandra? Cassandra, when I met you?
18 years ago.
18 years ago. Oh my gosh. That long? I'm dating myself.
She was really cool then.
She was my savior, sweetheart. But this is what I'm talking about. When you're gone, how will people remember you? And now that you're in there, what are the perceptions that other people have of you? And are they matching yours? Because you want to be unique. You want to be you. But do they see that? Do they see the value that you bring? Are they in alignment with your own behaviors, emotions, the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you relate, the way you make decisions? So this is the model that we teach. The model is balancing your core. What is your core? First and foremost is understanding how centered you are as a leader. What are your values and beliefs and principles? The second one is result-driven leadership. Is exceeding, meeting expectations. Is the delivery of the results that you're responsible for. The other one is how strategic and visionary are you? And the last one is relationship leadership. Are you balancing those core? Or are you leaning towards one because it's easier, it's faster, and neglecting the other one? Because at the end, you're surfing, right? And you need all those four colors to be manifested somehow. So your brain, it is programmed, and it can be programmed to behave just like that. So I have here the mats. When you go through the program, and this is going to be the Leadership Accelerated program, we're going to take you down to a path of designing the leader that you want to be. Maybe it's not the leader you are today, but it's embarking in the journey of self-discovery and knowing, how do I balance those four things? Result, visionary, strategic, relationship, and being centered on my core, my values, what I bring to the table. And that's kind of the model. Now, the model is also to help you understand the law of polarity. What is the law of polarity? If you tend to be a relationship-driven leader, what happens with the results? We tend to overemphasize people. Give them another chance. It's okay. Let me mentor. Let me coach you. Let me help you. Let me do it for you. Right? We're part of the same family. And what's happening to the other side? What are we creating? Unbalanced leadership. So a self-aware leader, someone who's ready to accelerate their development, is aware of those polarities. Am I putting enough attention on relationship, being empathetic, helping my team, my people, myself? But I'm also paying attention to deadlines, to results, to metrics. Or am I not consciously doing that? What do I need to do to bring balance to leadership? The other way around, if I'm a visionary leader and I come up with 10 ideas in a meeting, what might I be lacking?
Well, that's risky execution. You're going to have people running behind ideas.
Right. You might need to take time to plan, right? To be centered. Do I have the time? Do I have the resources? Is this aligned with my job, my priorities? Who's there to support me? But having the balance and being self-aware to understand that polarities are real. You're always going to be pulling two different directions. It's like day and night, up and down. So that's the first law that we have to manage and understand. Oh, I have so much to share you, but they only gave me an hour. I want you to think about you. I want you to think about you. How am I manifesting those 4 areas? Am I more a relationship driven? Am I more a result driven leader? What do I need to do less or more of to bring balance to leadership consciously? Think about your current challenges, your projects. Let me give you a minute. Think about it, write it down. I want you to walk away with actionable things that you can do. Am I communicating clearly? Am I managing conflict head on? Am I giving resources? Do I need resources?
Is this eventually mutually exclusive from strength-based leadership, or is it just complementing?
It is different. Yeah. This is more brand-based leadership. It's about programming your brain, yourself.
You're still lacking, and you know you're lacking.
Yes,
Thinking for someone that's strong.
exactly. Exactly. So if I'm not strong in this area, who's there to support me, to balance me out? And what do I need to do to take responsibility? If I move on, I might have to elevate that in me, whatever it is. It might be doing the accounting, doing the projections, managing the G&A. Maybe it's the project management. But what do you have to do to learn the necessary skills to be successful when you're leading someone who's going to be doing that? And if I need to elevate the relationship area, do I need to be more empathetic? Do I need to not judge too quickly, but listen to individuals? Okay, I want to hear some ideas. Who wants to share? Tell us your name and speak up. I don't know if we have the mic. Can we give her the mic? I want to make sure that our virtual participants can hear us. Do we know where are they joining us? I heard someone from Argentina and Mexico and Brazil. I need to share something with you, and I was so thrilled that I'm an Insights partner. So we got the exclusive partnership for Latin America. So this is awesome. We get to do this in Latin America and Spanish, all the countries in South America. So who wants to share? Tell me.
Hi, my name's Danielle, and it's funny because I'm sunshine yellow.
Oh, how did you know you're sunshine yellow?
Because we, in participating in ASE, we got to do our insights. And it's funny because I was able to understand one of my weaknesses is responding with my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And as a leader, if I'm so quick to do that, then my staff kind of feed off of that.
Yes.
So that's something that's been able to help me really understand the importance of my own ability to stop, listen first, as opposed to just going straight to how I feel.
And reacting emotionally. Beautiful. Thank you. Who else wants to share?
Hi, my name's Jennifer. So similarly, I am fiery red. Found that out thanks to you.
Was I your coach?
Yeah, I'm still in the Mujeres de Asa program. So we
okay.
just connected like 2 weeks ago. And in the results leadership one, the I need to do less is focusing on plans. Being fiery red, I tend to really hold on to action plans, and I'm very task driven and really focusing more on delegation and relationship building and more empathy to be able to understand what the other side is going through.
Beautiful. I have one more here. Thank you. And then I'm going back here. Okay.
Okay, so
Your name first.
Andrea.
Andrea.
I was part of Mujeres de Ace last year. You were my coach, and she's Venezuelan too. So I have to say that because I'm Venezuelan. I'm equally yellow and green, very low on the blue, which I have to work on. But I wrote that I have to use my relationship more strategically because I have a lot of relationships, but I think that I should use them in a better and more strategic way. So.
Okay. Thank you. So being strategic when managing relationships means learning from others, finding mentors maybe to propel your career. Maybe it's mentoring someone. So you develop the skills of mentoring others. Beautiful.
Yeah, my name is Solskin Gomez Crow, and I don't know what color I am, so I haven't done.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But I create a lot of visions. I do a lot of visions, but I always have a hard time executing them. Like I have about 10 or 15 visions of different things, but I'm also very relationship driven. So sometimes it's the following up on those relationships and tying things together.
Beautiful. So if she's very strategic, okay, and very creative, what will her dominant leadership manifestation be? Visionary, low polarity. What do we need to pay attention to? Centered leadership. So projects, plans, right? Deadlines, calendar management, maybe budget management, anything that has to do with systems and processes to make sure that we balance both. So when we do the program, the accelerated leadership program, we're also going to include the 360 reviews. So why do you think we take it down to 360 reviews? Why do we use it? To reprogram your brain, your mind. You need to have a baseline. How are people perceiving me, my communication, how I make decisions? Don't get hung up on the feedback. Oh, so-and-so just wrote nasty things about me. We want that sort of perception. If we don't know the perception other people have of you, how can we make changes? We want unbiased feedback, even if it is hard to read it, to listen to it, to understand it. And I don't want you to get emotional about it. I want you to see the gifts coming in. Oh, you need to be more organized, or you need to listen more. Instead of saying, what do they mean by that? And rejecting the feedback, I want you to think, how do I do it better? What behaviors do I need to shift to listen attentively, to be more intentional about not judging other people, but really changing the behaviors, my actions, my reactions, my emotions? Who has control over those? Your boss? Your company? No, it's you and only you. And that's where the wisdom comes in. You need to scan yourself all the time. Because when you get to those senior C-suite level positions, guess what? One reaction can make or break your career. I want you to think about the Oscars. Will Smith. What happened to him? He lost it. An amazing actor, someone that we look up to. And forever, his career is going to have that halo effect that he lost his emotions, his composure, his reaction. So don't be in positions that, don't put yourself in positions that you can lose yourself and be reactive. Plan ahead. Know your triggers. Know how to manage conflict. As a gift to you, today I'm launching my book. It's titled Conflicted. Go to Amazon.com. Google Conflicted by Marlene Gonzalez. It's free today and tomorrow. Please don't put yourself in positions that can damage your career. Learn to manage conflict. Okay? The book title is Conflicted by Marlene Gonzalez. You have to write my name because it's just going to be free today and tomorrow. Why am I giving the book free to you, to your friends, your peers, your team? I mean, it's going to be available for the next 24 hours. It's because I don't want you to be in the same position that Will Smith was a month ago. If you have conflicts, if you have a difficult situation, I want you to scan your emotions, your reactions, your behaviors, be self-aware, and then respond. But don't just do it out of the blue. Okay? See? You didn't know you were going to get a gift. So the leadership model takes you down one more level. And this is understanding the different dimensions that will make up the different manifestations of leadership. So you do get a report. The report is going to tell you if you're communicating effectively, if you're fostering teamwork, if you're facilitating development, leading from within, if you're an agile thinker, if you're delivering results or leading change. So why am I going through this? This is very different from IDP and leadership competencies, okay? This is about your own preferences, how my mind is wired and prefers to behave. Let me give you an example. When you brush your teeth, what hand do you use? Your dominant hand. Why is that? It's easier. You've been using that for so many years. Your body, your system, your brain is used to it. This is the same thing. We have conditioned ourselves to behave in a certain way, and we have to break the pattern. And to break the pattern, we need that baseline to know where is my plan of action. How do I improve behaviors in order to design the future that I want to create for myself, my family, and people around me? So we take you down that path so you're clear. When you walk away, you know where you are. And if you're here, you're surfing, okay? And you're surfing creatively because every single one of them is important. So, questions for me up to this point? No question. You're deciding, you're thinking.
Not a question. Yeah, it's not a question, but it adds to it. It's one of the 5 agreements about don't take it personal. At least my personal journey, that's something I do. I ask for feedback with managers, team members, stakeholders. And the first things I set, what's the baseline? The baseline is that it's not going to be personal. This is to improve my improvement. And that helps them to understand that you can be abrupt, you can be because I mean, that's what
transparent.
I'm looking for. Don't hold back because that's what I'm asking you. And that includes putting yourself in very uncomfortable conversations with people that might be conflicted with you for whatever reasons, but at least you're taking that first step and putting yourself out there, being vulnerable to be able to receive that feedback and then see what's being perceived. Because you might think you're doing something, but you don't know how it's being perceived. So that's the difference.
It's perception, right? So let me ask you a question. Do you know what they are? Like if I need to work on being center leadership, do I know that I have to work on those 5 things? Maybe not, right? Because no one is going to tell you this unless we are in a room like this saying you have to be authentic, be self-aware of your emotions, your reactions, your programming, how you tend to trigger negatively in any situation. What is the polarity of that manifestation? Is creating a compelling vision. I won't be able to balance those two if I'm not thinking strategically, being a visionary. But how do I elevate that? And that's part of the program, is helping you understand that we have to get out of the comfort zone. If 40% of Latinos are going to be in management position, C-suite level position, we need to up our game now, not next year. It's now, in the position you're in, that everybody can feel that you're passionate and committed to doing your best. The other polarities, leading change. I wrote a book on Change Wizard. It's just giving you tools and resources to lead change effectively. What is the polarity of leading change? Facilitating development, coaching, training, mentoring others. I won't be able to lead change if my team is not ready, if they don't have the experience, the skills, the motivation, the commitment of changing. You see where the combination is? Thank you. This one, being an agile thinker. Think down 5 levels. Don't just stay here. Ask yourself questions from different perspectives. Investors, the board of director, my clients, the end users, whatever those 5 levels are, so you gather more information. And the polarity is going to be, how do I communicate that? If I am very smart, analyzing and gathering the information, can I communicate it in a way that I'm painting the picture, creating that motivation, that engagement, that passion? Is it coming through when I speak in meetings? Am I motivating my team, or am I just staying in the analytical brain and not going to the visionary, strategic, influential? Because at the end, transformational leadership is about changing mindsets, creating changes around you. The last polarity, fostering teamwork and result-driven leadership. Result-driven is about outcomes. Am I getting the results? What are the results? Do I understand the actions, the next steps? Am I holding people accountable? Am I holding myself accountable? So I want you to go back to your hands out. There is a page that has this circle. I want you to circle the one that you feel you have to elevate that energy a little bit more. It should be the wheel. It's not color-coded, but it's the wheel. So if I find myself being challenged by fostering teamwork, I don't want to handle emotions, I don't want to get connected with my team, I feel that they know how to do the job, I don't need to micromanage. Maybe that's the area you need to pay attention to. Am I spending time with them? Am I guiding, coaching, mentoring them? And the low polarity, what is the opposite? Am I pushing too hard? Or should I be pushing harder on my team? What's your case? So circle both. Your dominant and the one that you might feel, this is the law of polarity. I have to pay attention to this area. Which one is coming up for you? Maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2. And which dimension is the most important for my team effectiveness, for me as a leader? And again, it's not about title. People, you can have people reporting to you. It's the effect you're having directly on the team that you're in right now. Think about the things you can do. Go to the next page. This is just a checklist. It should look like this. It's a checklist. I'm just giving tools and resources that we use during the program. How could I balance all those energies? How do I use the blue energy to be systematic, data-driven? How am I using this yellow energy to incentivize, motivate my team, share the vision, the strategies, make sure we are on the same page? If it is the green energy, am I involving them? Do they need training? Do they need coaching? Do they need mentoring? And the red energy, what are we aiming for? What are the results we're looking for? What are the metrics? Is there clarity around them? And the last page is giving you a summary, ideas on how that path can take you to elevate transformational leadership in you. I'm giving you cues and ideas. Have it next to your computer. This is the path out of middle management to upper management. But we have to have a good core. We need to know what to aim. We need to know the law of polarities. We need to be aware of our emotions, our reactions, our programming. We need to design the future. What leadership is for me? Where do I want to go? Why do I want to go there? So, I'm giving you the wheel of leadership transformation. You know why I call this the wheel? Because you, when you're driving this beautiful car, you have to steer the wheel, right? To the right or the left. You have to decide which color is important for me to display at this point in my career, in my life, and make the commitment to develop that yourself. Your boss, your company is going to give you tools and resources, but it's up to you to own your own leadership development, to drive the car in a way that gets you where you want to go. You see what I'm saying? What type of car do you want to drive? What type of car do you want to drive? Tell me. Porsche? Lamborghini? That's the type of car I want Latinos to drive. That they're promoted to CEO and they're ready. Okay? Muy bien. Esto es for the last 14 years, I've been assessing, supporting, providing tools and resources for ASE. And I help design the programs that we deliver. And we're putting this accelerated C-suite level kind of program. But I want you to see this. This was 10 years ago. Every dot is around 100 participants, okay? This is about, I think it's 5,000 people. What dominant color do you see there 10 years ago? Blue. So the blue was very observant, analytical, quiet, introverted. Fast forward 10 years. This is the new Latino. This is the best generation ever. And I'm on the quest to develop the next generation of leaders. Here, guys, you are the best generation. You have the tools, the resources, the technology to get to the level that you want to go. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't. Don't let your brain sabotage your progress with self-doubt, okay? Because we tend to be our worst enemy. Connect to the first exercise we did earlier. What were your top 5 successes the last 10 years? I want you to collect, to think, to ponder, to reflect on those successes. But I want you to do it every week. Every week, at the end of the week, 10 minutes. What went well for me this week? What did not go well for me this week? And the last question is, what can I do about it next week? Not next month. If I had an issue with you and I have to go back and write down what I can do next week, I need to repair the relationship, right? I need to handle conflict effectively. If we get into the discipline or just journaling 10 minutes at the end of the week, based on the discovery that you went through today, being your own coach, your own mentor, you can change behaviors like this and be ready for anything, anytime, anywhere. And I want you to think about, how can I unlock the power that is within you once and for all? Let's fly together. We don't need more old rhetoric things like, I don't have mentors, I don't have resources. What do we have? Ourselves. What would that mean? I have my intelligence, my brain, my experience, my motivation, my passion. Can you do something with it? Can you do something with it? Yes. Thank you. That is what transformational leadership is all about. It's transforming yourself and the people around you, because it's contagious. And if I can, es un poquito como COVID, right? Let's make this positive, contagious leadership go viral everywhere. Is that a commitment? So this is the path that we created for you. We're going to be promoting this accelerated leadership program this year and next year. It's going to be a 9-month program. Why 9 months? Think about the babies, right? First, we have to get through, thank you, question, discovery. But it is about identifying your Latinidad, your beliefs, your upbringing. Even though we're Latinos, we're from different areas. We have different priorities, different values, but you have to be clear about what those are. So we're planning a retreat, doing all the manifestations of leadership, self-assessment, meeting with a coach 4 times, then doing a closing retreat, doing benchmark with companies, but taking a deeper dive into one dimension at a time, okay? So when you are walking out of that program, we expect you to go to the top, to rise, okay? Now, who's the target audience? This is not a mini MBA. Please, this is about unlocking your leadership, understanding your core, what makes you unique. We want this to be aimed to hypos, new promoted directors, BP, or someone who wants to pursue executive level roles in any company. This is a little bit about me. You can Google me. And this is the book that I want you to download today. It's free. It's just for you. There are more books being sold out there. If you get them, all the proceeds will go to ACE. Okay? So help us. Help us get those books. Help us promote the program. Put some funds towards the program. And if you're working with a company that can sponsor the program, please talk to ACE. They can help us deliver this beautiful program for everyone. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here. And most importantly, make us proud. We have one more day together. So get to know more people. Let's build this family together, okay? Thank you.
With your messed up shirt, I level with the bank, but Bob slow, hoping for more.